In the early morning hours of Tuesday, February 10, 2026, a quiet street in Fort Lauderdale, Florida was shattered by violence that would stretch over 200 miles and leave 7 people dead in its wake. What began as a routine well-being check would escalate into one of the most chilling murder sprees Florida has seen in years. Police were called to a house in Fort Lauderdale on a quiet side street. Inside, they found 2 victims, a 46-year-old woman and an 18-year-old man, both shot dead. Detectives later discovered the victims were connected, but not just by blood. One was someone the suspect once knew intimately. Within hours, that first chilling crime would be linked to something far worse thousands of footsteps away. Surveillance cameras caught a vehicle leaving the Fort Lauderdale neighborhood shortly after the murders. It drove across Florida, through small towns, past highways, heading toward Sarasota, a wealthy coastal community hundreds of miles away. One resident later described seeing a lone car pull into the Amberley neighborhood, just minutes before gunfire rang out. Shortly after noon, 911 calls came from a home in the Sarasota gated community. Neighbors reported gunshots. Deputies raced to the scene and found a man lying in the front yard, gravely wounded, with frantic civilians attempting CPR. But that was only the beginning. When deputies cleared the house, they discovered 4 more bodies, 2 men, 2 women, and among them the suspect, 51-year-old Russell Cott, dead from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. The identities of the victims sent shockwaves through the community. Friends, family, people with ordinary lives, all cut short in a single afternoon. This was no random act of violence. Law enforcement soon confirmed what many feared. The Sarasota victims were tied, through family and friendship, to the victims in Fort Lauderdale. One of the Fort Lauderdale victims had been intimately linked to the suspect. But why the second massacre? That question still haunts investigators. No clear motive, no warning signs. Just an ordinary day turned into a nightmare that crossed the length of a state. Authorities say there was no ongoing threat to the public, but the emotional toll on families, friends, and entire neighborhoods will be felt for years. 7 people gone. One suspect who left more questions than answers. On that late winter morning, a homicide in Fort Lauderdale ignited a chain of terror that ended hundreds of miles away in Sarasota. And while authorities piece together the final details, one thing remains clear. Sometimes the quietest neighborhoods hide the darkest stories. Subscribe for updates on this case as it unfolds.